questions answered, and to hear what God has. In this time of the pandemic, where COVID-19 has crippled the world economies, where our government has ordered nationwide shutdown, where hospitals are overwhelmed.
Shortly after, the unthinkable happened.
I was literally stunned and frozen.
And their religious leaders are proven to be frauds. Where do you go to get all your questions answered and to hear what God has to say about this matter? You can only find the answers in the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge under Commanding General YAHANNA. We give you scriptural breakdowns of world events and the up and coming world war. We will show you in the Bible where the children of Israel, who are the blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans today, would suffer slavery in Jamaica, Caribbean, North, Central, and South America, and other parts of the world. We will show you in the Bible where God said He would send plagues upon the earth before He frees people from this captivity.
The World Health Organization has declared coronavirus a global pandemic.
We will give you the true teaching of the Bible, precept upon precept. To learn more, subscribe today and call the number in the description for I.S.U.P.K Jamaica. Shalom. Shalom, Hebrew. This is the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge. Started at 1 West, 125th Street, Harlem, New York, and is run today by Commanding General YAHANNA, the man with the rank and the authority to be the leader of the nation of Israel at this time. I want to say Yahweh Basham Yahweh Barakatam to my brothers, Yahweh Adatan Basham Yahweh to my sisters. Welcome to I.S.U.P.K Jamaica Law class. All right, controversy. Tonight topic: how Benjamites learn to Bun Chi Chi Man. You know, especially amongst we Jamaicans. You know, there's a homophobia, but it is deeper than that. It's biblical. And the biblical sense in which we are talking about is not where the law says that if man lied with a man, not from that standpoint. It's biblical where it was recorded in the times of the judges when we were almost wiped out from being a tribe amongst the 12 tribes of Israel. Had they succeeded, there would have been no Benjamin for one, and two, you would be saying 12 tribes of Israel, or you would say 11 tribes of Israel. All right, but what is Chichi, man? What is Chichi? Who know what is Chichi? What is Chichi? All right, Chichi is termite. All right, in Jamaica we call Chichi duckans. All right, or we call duckans Chichi, whichever one we put it. But it's termite. What does termite eat? Termite eat wood. Right. So these are wood-eating men. In we call them Chi Chi Man. All right. So how did we get to the point where we start saying things like that, where we are one of the hardest stands in the Western Hemisphere against homosexuality. Now, it is engraved in our DNA from the time of the judges when we were all wiped out for condoning that act. Right? And we're going to read that story. You find where it is not to say that the tribe of Benjamin had gone to homosexuality. That wasn't the case. But they were condoning it. In other words, the ones who committed certain acts and what the Bible says you must bring them out for justice. You know, just like how we love bad things. That the part that come out of we though, that's still inside of us. So just like how we love to back bad things now, thing back in that time, we back the wrong thing to the point where it almost wipe us out. And we'll find that story in Judges 19. Judges chapter 19 is an extensive amount of reading this evening, so we're going to jump right into it. Scripture pack this evening.
Let's start at verse 1.
Yeah. Yeah, I can follow. You want to follow? Are you all right? Hmm?
It's 19.
Find it, Judges. Show me Judges then.
Well, that's a different one.
Oh, yeah, I'm following the number on the page. You're not going at the contents. You know.
So, yes, I start from here. 19. I mean, I read still in there, just follow this. Yeah. This is the book of Judges, chapter 19, verse 1. And it came to pass in those days, there was no king in Israel, that there was a certain Levite sojourning on the side of Mount Ephraim, who took to him a concubine out of Bethlehem, Judah. Journeying on the side of Mount Ephraim, a concubine.
All right. And Levite. Continue.
God, verse 2. And his concubine played the war against him, and went away from him unto her father's house to Bethlehem, Judah, and was there 4 whole months.
Right. So his concubine left him and somewhere else, but him is a woman who him love and leave him for 4 months.
Verse 3. And her husband arose and went after her to speak friendly unto her and to bring her again, having his servant with him and a couple of asses, and she brought him into her father's house And when the father of the dancer saw him, he rejoiced with him. Verse 4. And his father-in-law, the dancer's father, and he abode with him 3 days. So they did eat and drink and lodge there.
Alright, so the father and the girl and the woman find him, saw the man, and asked him, "Oh, glad to see you, man. Come in. Spend some time with us, man." And so forth. Continue.
Another one can. Verse 5. And it came to pass on the 4th day, when they arose early in the morning, that he rose up to depart. And the dancer's father said unto him, his son-in-law, comfort thine heart with a morsel of bread, and afterward go your way.
Right. So they would say, have breakfast. Have breakfast with us, man, and then they can go. You understand? So that's basically what I'm saying. So have this morsel of bread, then they can go. You're inviting him to have a little breakfast before you go. Continue.
Verse 6. And they sat down and did eat and drink, both of them together. For the father had said unto the men, be content, I pray thee, and tarry all night, and let thine heart be merry. Verse 7. And when the man rose up to depart, his father-in-law urged him. Therefore he lodged there again.
All right. So it's like his father-in-law don't want him go. I understand. Continue.
Verse 8. And he arose early in the morning on the 5th day to depart. And the dancer's father said, comfort thine heart, I pray thee. And they tarried until afternoon. And they did eat both of them.
All right. And they detain them again till the 5th day now.
Yeah.
All right, continue.
Verse 9. And when the man rose up to depart, he and his concubine and his servant, his father-in-law, the dancer's father, said unto him, behold, now the day draweth toward evening. I pray you, tarry all night. Behold, the day groweth to an end. Lodge here, that thine heart may be merry. And tomorrow get you early on your way, that thou mayest go home.
Right, the man said, they almost done, man. I'm not going to, man. Just wait till tomorrow. All right, continue.
Verse 10. But the man would not tarry that night, but he rose up and departed, and come over against Jebus, which is Jerusalem. And there were with him 2 asses, and his concubine also was with him.
All right, and did not stay, so him say, no, may I leave tonight. So him leave. Saddle up your ass and him leave. 11.
Verse 11. And when they were by Jebus, the day was far spent, and the servant said unto his master, come, I pray thee, and let us turn into the city of the Jebusites, and lodge in it.
All right. When they were by Jebus, that's where Jebus come from, the Jebusites. So they call it Jebus.
Yeah.
That was one of the cities that they took. And then they run out.
Yeah.
So the Jebusites were still in the city. The day was far spent, and the servant said to his master, come, I pray you, and let us turn into the city of the Jebusites and find a hotel. Yeah. Find a little motel for the night. So you can lodge in it. 12.
Verse 12. And his master said unto him, we will not turn aside here into the city of a stranger that is not of the children of Israel. we will pass over.
All right. So now we're not going to stay in the city of the heathen. We're going into Gibeah, which is a city of the children of Israel. 13.
Verse 13. And he said unto his servant, Come, and let us draw near to one of these places to lodge all night in Gibeah or in Ramah.
All right.
Verse 14. And they passed on and went their way, and the sun went down upon them when they were by Gibeah, which belonged to Benjamin.
All right. So they catch them by Gibeah, which is a city of Benjamin. So these were cities in which we as Benjamites elsewhere, we rule over that city. Which cities we rule over today?
Yeah, we rule over the city.
In Jamaica, Barbados, St. Lucia, any one of the isles of the Caribbean. Which city Benjamite rule over? None.
God.
In these days, we had cities in which we, just like how you see the Chinese, them now control our cities, the metropolitan business here in most of our towns. That was us in our cities. And Gibeah was our city. Continue.
Verse 15. And they turned aside thither to go in and to lodge in Gibeah. And when he went in, he sat him down in the street of the city, for there was no man that took them into his house to lodge.
So couldn't find anywhere to stay. So he was in the street of the city. All right, you might have to stay in the street of the city. And no man not taking me. All right, 16.
Verse 16. And behold, there came an old man from his work out of the field at even, which was also among Ephraim, and he sojourned in Gibeah, but the men of the place were Benjamites.
That is 16, eh?
Yeah.
And behold, there came an old man from his work out of the field. Okay, so this man was an Ephraimite, sojourning in Gibeah, but the men of the place were Benjamites. All right. So when we by sojourn in Gibeah, when we by sojourn in that place.
Still in that place.
All right.
Mirage.
He was an Ephraimite, but he was like a migrant into the city. Right.
Yeah.
So he was sojourning in Gibeah, and having place in Gibeah. But he's an Ephraimite.
You mean a Levite?
No, the old man who come in.
Okay, so
that man was a Levite.
yeah.
The man who we start reading about is a Levite. But the one who came, who is going to offer the help now, was an Ephraimite, but was living amongst the Benjamites. Continue.
Verse 7. And when he had left, and when he had lifted up his eyes, he saw a wayfaring man in the street of the city. And the old man said, Whither goest thou? And whence comest thou?
Where I go? Where I come from? Continue.
Verse 18. And he said unto him, We are passing from Bethlehem, Judah, toward the side of Mount Ephraim. From thence am I. And I went to Bethlehem, Judah. I am now going to the house of the Lord. And there is no man that receives me.
All right. No man will put me up. Because in those days, we never really rely on it. We help each other. A Benjamin sojourn in our town, well, an Israelite. We put our, if you notice, our laws, keep part of our laws that tells us to be mindful of how we entertain strangers. Because you could entertain angels. Meaning, you must always entertain strangers properly. So the entertaining of strangers was a part of Israelite. But this man now, he couldn't find a man to entertain him. But he find a stranger in the area, a sojourner. Continue.
Verse 90. Yet there is more straps and provender for our asses, and there is bread and wine also for thee, and for thy handmaid, and for the young man which is with thy servants. There is no want of anything.
Alright, so the Levite is telling this Ephraimite man who is offering him that we have everything we need, we just never get no mistake. We have food for us and our animal. It's a caravan that you know. Because it was him, his woman, and servants, and food for all of them on the journey, plus food for the animals. Continue.
Verse 20. And the old man said, Peace be with thee. Howsoever, let all thy want lie upon me. Only lodge not in the street.
All right. All right. Peace be unto you, but allow me if you take care of you for the night. I don't want you to stay on the street. Continue.
So he brought him into his house and gave provender unto the asses, and they washed their feet, and they eat and drink.
All right, so took up the Ephraimite offer, and he went into the house. So he didn't use his provide his victuals. He used the Ephraimite offer him food and all right.
Verse 22. So as they were making their heart merry, behold, the men of the city, certain sons of Belial, he set the house round about, and beat at the door, and spake to the master of the house, the old man, saying, Bring forth the man that came into thy house, that we may know him.
All right, so that's after homosexuality, they want to you remember the story when with Lot in the city, and they come when the angels came in, and they say, pretty guys out here, so make we get to know them. It's the same thing here now. Give us that stranger there that we may get to know him. Isn't there a lot of such men among the children of the Benjamites today still? Yeah. And amongst other Israelite tribes, what they say now, they're coming out.
Coming out of the closet.
Exactly. Meaning that now, whether they are, well, any one of the LGBTQ plus member, whether they are alpha, lesbian, gay, LG, where beefer?
Bisexual.
You sure?
Transsexual.
You sure be a Batman?
Okay. LGBT.
All right, the G at the bottom one. Lesbian, lesbian, church man. Bisexual, transsexual, queers, plus anything else. One umbrella, Sodomites. And that's what we as Israelites in general started to call, because this is not new, you know. The city of Sodom was before, Sodom and Gomorrah was before we became a nation, you know. Yeah. So the city, that story was known in the earth. So when we became a nation, we call any one of them who fall under the umbrella, the colorful umbrella, we call them Sodomites. And that is recorded in the Bible. That is biblical. It's not me just saying that off my head. That's biblical. It's not a hate speech. Now, these men around the thing. So, which are the group? Them would be G. Them would be gays. Right. But they were Benjamites. They were Israelites, you know. So I tell the old man, say, send out the man to get to know him. And of course, we know him, even not say it's so pretty. Eh? That's what I always say. So the man wants it not, right? All right. What did the old man say?
Verse 23. And the man, the master of the house, went out unto them and said unto them, Nay, my brethren, nay, I pray you, do not so wickedly, seeing that this man is come into my house to do this folly. Into my house, do not this folly.
All right. So, the people of the Israelites back then, homosexuality was a wicked act. Homosexuality was a wicked act. Homosexuality was an act which was worse than rape. Yeah. So NC said, do not so wickedly. All right. The Most High has never destroyed a city because there were rapists in the city. But he has destroyed the city because there were homosexuals in the city. And why is it so? Because these men you can't persuade them. You know, their personality is such that it's, when I say overpowered, they are very demanding. You can't reason them out of being gay. They will kill you. Right? All right, read on.
Verse 24. Behold, here is my daughter, a maiden, and his concubine. Them I will bring out now, and only use them, and do with them what seemeth good unto you, but unto this man do not so violate him.
All right, I will bring out the man wife and my daughter who is a virgin. You can't take them. But don't trouble the man ass. I mean his donkey. I mean his backside. Don't trouble him backside, right? Don't be a cheat man around here. But that's the way they are difficult person. Continue.
Verse 25. But the men would not hearken to him. So the man took his concubine and brought her forth unto them, and they knew her, and abused her all the night until the morning. And when the day began to spring, they let her go.
So if they wanted the man and they got the woman, what do you think them do? Same thing with them do to the man. Go into the wrong hole. Fly the rocket in the ozone. You remember that song? And I'm flying a rocket in an ozone. Really? How would you sing a Spragger? Which before which time? That's program one of them guys then. I think so, man. I don't know, a long time ago, man. Now flying a rocket and nah, which song go again? He was singing this song as if he was singing about outer space. Oh yes. Now flying a rocket in an ozone. Now flying a rocket in an something another. And we're not no astronaut. We're not go Uranus.
Oh, that one, we know that song there. Now go Uranus.
Right. So we're seeing about like it was the planets. But the planet he was leaking about was Uranus. Benjamites was the man. Right. So you see, not before your time. Yeah, man, they not flying a rocket in no ozone. Not flying a rocket in no ozone, not on no astronaut. Not go Uranus. Something like so. Anyways, right here now, what these men wanted was to go to Uranus. They wanted to fly to Uranus, but they wanted to go to the male side of Uranus. But the old man gave them the man's concubine. Now, if you follow the earlier part of the story, you would have realized that this man loved this woman dearly. That is why the woman left him gone for 4 months and him go search and find her. Find her up our father's yard. Right? Yeah. And tarry with the father until this time. Because, you know, obviously the most I know that there were evils. This kind of evil was brewing quietly in Israel. And Most High has his way of bringing what the evils that are in the dark to bring them out in the light. Yeah. And one of this way that he's choosing now is to get these men to come up against this man for sexual pleasure. Okay, you see how much delay. And that's when the woman father said, "It's too late now. Why not stay until tomorrow you go?" He said, "No, sir, I'm going." And it's the very night that he chose to go that this act come upon him. Continue.
Verse 26. Then came the woman in the dawning of the day and fell down at the door of the man's house, where her Lord was, till it was light.
Right. So she came back weak and fell down at the doorway. Continue.
And her Lord rose up in the morning and opened the doors of the house and went out to go there. So to go his way, and behold, the woman, his concubine, was falling down at the door of the house, and her hands were upon the threshold.
All right, so when man raised up and said, "All right, I can leave you now, yeah, man, cause maybe woman dead or something." When he opened the door, is the woman at the door? Yeah. And when he wake her, when he shake her and thing, she not responding. So he did. Continue.
Verse 28. And he said unto her, "Up and let us be going." But none answered. Then the man took her up upon an ass, and the man rose up and gat him unto his place.
29.
Verse 29. And when he was come into his house, He took and laid hold on his concubine and divided her together with her bones into 12 pieces and sent her into all the coasts of Israel.
All right, so the wife dead. Then us cut up the dead body and send it to all the tribes, all the elders, the leaders within each tribe. Continue.
Verse 30. And it was so that all that saw it said, there was no such deed done nor seen from the day that the children of Israel came up out of the land of Egypt. And this day, consider of it, take advice, and speak your mind.
All right, 20.
Chapter 20, verse 1. Then all the children of Israel went out and was gathered together as one man from Dan even to Beersheba, with the land of Gilead, unto the Lord in Israel.
So after this, after they see this now, then they start so what's this act? I've never seen any such thing in Israel. So it's like they come call everybody together now. Call up everyone and say, boy, we need to come together and discuss this thing, you know. Continue.
Verse 2. And the chief of all the people, even of all the tribes of Israel, presented himself in the assembly of the people of God, 400,000 men that drew sword. Verse 3.
So you see how Israelite solve problem? What were they trying to do? They're not negotiate. They were gathering to go to war. Continue.
Verse 3. Now the children of Benjamin heard that the children of Israel were gone up to Mizpeh. Then said the children of Israel, tell us, how was this wickedness?
Explain this wickedness to me. How this happened in your city? Why made this happen in your city? Continue.
Verse 4. And the Levite, husband of the woman that was slain, answered and said, I came into Gibeah that belongeth to Benjamin, I and my concubine to lodge. Verse 5. And the men of Gibeah rose against me, and set the house round about upon me by night, and thought to have slain me, and my concubine have slacked, and my concubine have they slacked, and my concubine have they forced that she is dead.
Right. So the man who it happened to witness unto them as to what really happened. Continue.
Verse 6. And I took my concubine and cut her in pieces and sent her throughout all the country of the inheritance of Israel, for they have committed lewdness and folly in Israel.
Continue.
Verse 7. Behold, ye are all children of Israel. Give ear your advice and counsel.
8.
Verse 8. And all the people arose as one man, saying, we will not any of us go to his tent, neither will we any of us turn into his house. Verse 9. But no, this shall be the thing which we will do to Gibeah. We will go up by lot against it.
What do you mean by lot? This is where they cast lot. Ask the Most High. which tribe should go up to fight him first? That's how we fight war. So they said we will go up by a lot against him. Against Gibeah. So 11 tribes were organizing it. They were doing their groundwork to remove the evil. I said something really happened. So we're going to get to the bottom of it and remove it by force if necessary. Right. So in a day like today, what they would have gathered, you would have seen the police force with maybe 1 and 2 military men. But there was no such thing among us. We'd have to do it ourselves. So you find that today they label it jungle justice. Esau come amongst you, set up his government, and then call your system of rulership jungle justice. And our system of government, of governing on the ground, was way more effective. Esau's system allowed criminals to roam free. Yeah. Because it's important for them, and they make money from it. But from us, among us who is feeling the brunt of the crime, we don't make money from it. It's no good to us. Right. It's all lost. All right, verse 1.
Verse 10. Verse 10. And we will take 10 men of 100 through all the tribes of Israel, and 100 of 1,000, and 1,000 out of 10,000, to fetch victual for the people, that they may do when they come to Gibeah of Benjamin, according to all the folly that they have wrought in Israel. God 1 verse 11. So all the men of Israel were gathered against the city, knit together as one man.
Meaning, everybody was singing the same song. Everybody had the same goal. Okay. What goal? Continue.
God 1. Verse 12. And the tribes of Israel sent men through all saying, what wickedness is this that is done among you?
Yeah.
Verse 13. Deliver us, the men, the children of Belial, which are in Gibeah, that we may put them to death and put away evil from Israel.
All right. So then get to know the perpetrators. Yeah. So maybe these men were some influential men, right? Because if you look at how it operates with LGBT, them roam amongst the influential people. Thank you. But the people rose up and said, put them out to us. Right? Yeah. So they encircle the city. Put these men out to us that we may kill them, because they have done folly in Israel. Continue.
Verse 13. Now therefore deliver us, the men, the children of Belial, which are in Gibeah, that we may put them to death and put away evil from Israel. But the children of Benjamin would not hearken to the voice of their brethren, the children of Israel.
So what start to happen now?
Start condoning
the wrong.
Like Jamaica start do now and come to that kind of lifestyle. Jamaica start condoning.
Right. Probably saying things like, I can prove that them and them, I can prove that them do it. Yeah. Or what? So what? Then can find, then can go to Uranus. Right?
Come on, slap ya. Or like what they must say today. What go on in a man house is field business and all them things.
All right. Those things they did. Rape was one.
Yeah.
Because they forced a woman against her will there.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know. Woman probably could have angled it another way. He was too afraid to call for help or something. Maybe he knew that has become the nature of the city that he was in.
Yeah.
Right? If you live in when in a garrison, you have to be careful when you call a man a thief, you know. Or you call a man a murderer. Yeah. Or you call him a Dan. Can't call him a murderer. Right. So this was the key. This man in our city where he obviously was pressed against asking others for help. Because obviously no man is going to help him. Continue.
Yeah. And the children of Benjamin,
15?
verse 15. Yeah. And the children of Benjamin were numbered at that time out of the cities 26,000 men that drew sword, beside the inhabitants of Gilead, which were numbered 700 chosen men.
Now, just like today, these Benjamites were warriors. We had good warriors among Benjamites. You see it here, we see it in the time of David. There were some good warriors. But is who the Most High is with is going to prevail. Read on, you soon see.
Verse 16. Among all these people, there were 700 chosen men left-handed, even one, so that everyone could sling stones at an ear breadth and not miss.
All right. What I said today about the left-handed shatter?
Left-footed ball.
Left-footed ball is the goal. Left-handed shatter, what him do? Him don't miss. So it seems as if that left hand, when it comes to warring, is a gift. You know what they are telling you here? These left man fling at a strand of your hair from a good distance away and not miss. That was how precise they were, because they were men of valor. Right? And they call them men of valor. You get them in a war, them flings to. You notice when you see the Palestinian and the Israeli and the Palestinian, they have a where they swing. So that's the sling, you know. And it is the area that they're using. Now, hey, even though still, you know, each time you look at these men, you know, them man are fling stone after man who about shot. But anyways, that wasn't us. And that them down there, they will soon be removed. So these men were left-handed and could sling stones at an hair and not miss. If you know, this is HIR, it says, you know, talking about the ear and head. Continue.
Verse 17. And the men of Israel beside Benjamin were numbered 400,000 men that drew sword. All these were men of war.
All right. The men of Israel beside Benjamin. 400,000 come up. 400,000 warmen came up upon Benjamin. Continue.
Verse 18. And the children of Israel arose and went up to the house of God and asked counsel of God and said, which of us shall go up first to the battle against the children of Benjamin?
All right. So when they say we will go up against him by lot, this is what they are talking about.
Yeah.
So they're drawing lot now, asking the Most High. The other thing that they use is the tomayam, the dice, rolling the dice, and the priest would use the dice. All that is being lost today. We don't know how. We don't know how they did it, but it was the dice that the priest would use to find out which tribe should go against Benjamin first. Continue.
God. And the Lord said, Judah shall go up first.
Verse what that?
Same verse 18.
Okay.
Verse
Right.
19.
So that was the result of the lot. It fall upon Judah. Judah shall go up first. Continue.
Verse 19. And the children of Israel rose up in the morning and encamped again against Gibeah. Verse 20. And the men of Israel went out to battle against Benjamin. And the men of Israel put themselves in array to fight against them at Gibeah.
All right. So they set themselves in battle array with Judah at the front against Benjamin. Judah is is Israel's leader, but Judah and Benjamin. Throughout the Bible, Judah and Benjamin move close.
Yeah.
Even from the time of when Joseph was in Egypt, and Joseph was playing with his brothers. Remember the story? When him sent them the car and put back the money in the car. And when they reach up the seat and said, Jesus, peace with them pay feet. Then I go send people come kill me now. Yeah. And then they go back and say, but you know, collect. And they say, sure, we collect and play with them and thing. And then they inquire, no, but you have another brother. And then they say, yes, we have another brother, but we can't carry him if we lose him, blah, 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 because he has already lost one. He said, all right, yeah, carry him. Then they carry him. I remember how they wanted to, go again, to hold him for something. And Judah said, boy, but they hold me. Yeah. I'm making him go on, because if we don't go back without him, the father go there. Yeah.
So basically, this would mean that Judah duty bring back Benjamin. Would you say it in a way like that?
We wouldn't want to say it that way. Yeah. But all right, if you notice, even in the time of Christ, Benjamin, Paul was a man. Paul got the mantle right after Judah. Right? No, man, Paul in New Testament, we say. New Testament. Well, Saul who became Paul. Right? King Saul was a Benjamite. Maccabees were Benjamites. So both them two tribes move close. In America, Judah. That's where Benjamites in the Caribbean want to go, don't? Yeah. Right where Judah is. Right? So the most I give the mantle to Judah right here now say, you're the one who going to whip him. Even though Judah will get him ass whipped. Still, read on.
Verse 19, and the children of Israel rose up in the morning and encamped against Gibeah. Verse 20, and the men of Israel went out to battle against them, and the men of Israel put themselves in array to fight against them in Gibeah. Verse 21, and the children of Benjamin came forth out of Gilead, and destroyed down to the ground of the Israelites that day 22,000 men. Verse 22.
All right, before we go on. So 22,000 men. So because Judah was at the front, even though it says Israelite, you know, matter that that been who is at the battlefront.
Yeah.
First into battle, first to die. Right. You know, if we Israelites we kill out a whole heap of our own people, you know. From the time of Judges coming down, civil war amongst us, we kill out a lot of our people, you know. Today, crime amongst each other. A lot of killing amongst us. But the Most High has promised that, you know, it's going to cease. Maybe his way of keeping us the sinful in check. Keep us in numbered. Understand? Limit the numbers. Because really and truly, you know, if it wasn't for the Most High holding us back, we and our sinful ways would have still be ruling the world.
We went on to conquer the world.
Esau wouldn't be able to manage us.
Yeah.
But the Most High, you know, is really the wisest being in this universe. Him set it where him say, yes, you make with this gene for rulership, that is Israel. But it's one way you're going to be successful if you stick by me. We don't stick by him, we fall. And we sign that in a contract that we call covenant. Right? So once we not following the Most High, you hear some people say, boy, you know what we do still, you know? We go like a curse, me curse. Everything we do feel. Yeah. You ever hear that? Yeah. We ourselves might even experience that.
Yes, sir. I can tell you, I say it up on my way, say on the place curse.
All right. So we pick up that there is a curse somewhere, you know. Yeah. But when I tell them that this curse that you feel is not somebody doing you anything, it's the Most High punishing you for not keeping his law, statutes, and commandments. What them say?
No, them want.
I said, no, sir. The Christ abolished the laws. Yeah. Which anyway, if the laws were abolished, you wouldn't be experiencing what you're experiencing.
Yeah.
Right? The other races, they don't experience the curse you experience. You have people in other races who come up poor. And when they put their shoulder to the wheel and start work, they achieve what they want. But there is so much obstacle in your way that you can't see the curse. Continue.
Done. Verse 23. And the children of Israel went up and wept before the Lord until even, and asked counsel of the Lord, saying, shall I go up again to battle against the children of Benjamin, my brother? And the Lord said, go up against him. Verse 24. And the children of Israel came near against the children of Benjamin the second day. Verse 25. And Benjamin went forth against them of Gibeah the second day, and destroyed down to the ground of the children of Israel again 18,000 men, all these drew the sword.
18,000 men of war were killed. Continue.
Verse 26. Then all the children of Israel and all the people went up and came unto the house of God and wept, and sat there before the Lord and fasted that day until evening. and offered burnt offering and peace offering before the Lord.
All right, so who knows? Maybe the Most High saw that Benjamin were actually growing strong because what? 11 tribes come against him. What was happening? Benjamin busting ass. But the Most High who had to come up against us and deliver us into the 11 tribes. And so it could be that the Most High saw that we were getting strong in the wrong way. Because what are we defending? Arms house. We have Bun Chi Chi Man them. Because this war was about defending the Chi Chi Man them. Right? Today, what do we defend? Man, we Chi Chi Man. But we defend the bad man them. We defend the gunman. Right? It's kind of twofold in that you know that if you expose him in a certain way to the police, they might die. But first time you know how this used to happen, pick me that yard and get trouble and I keep going and sitting. The parents could even rope him up and get him a station and make police come on yard and turn him over. But that now comes from the way we used to handle injustice within our society. But today, that injustice is Esau's and we're putting them in. So you become a bit hesitant in doing it. Because you know you turn over somebody, what are you going to turn him over into? Esau's prison. Him not listening to you, but turning him over to the system is going to will be turning him over to Esau's prison. To either die in prison, get mad in prison. Because a lot of our people get insane in prison because of the condition that is in there, the overcrowded condition. Thank you. Because prison is supposed to change you, it's supposed to reform you. A man going, give me a simple right. Right, man breaking house because he's hungry. And you lock him up with some hardened murderers, you know. Hungry to make we do what we're doing now. I mean, I tell you, we live some good life on road, you know, just through that little tough head boy there, make we get catch, you know. Come join, man. And they start, so, you know what, the prisoners become a place for recruiting gangs. That's the situation now, right? But read on. This is how we dealt with crime back then. Verse 1.
Verse 27. Verse 27. And the children of Israel inquired of the Lord, for the ark of the covenant of God was there in those days. Verse 28. And Phinehas, the son of Eleazar, the son of Aaron, stood before it in those days, saying, shall I yet again go out to battle against the children of Benjamin, my brother, or shall I cease? And the Lord said, go up, for tomorrow I will deliver them into thine hand.
All right. So the Most High is telling them, continue to fight. You know so much that you're dying. Continue on. I'm going to deliver them into your hand tomorrow. So in other words, the Most High have a plan to break our strength. And to show you that this is the nature of the Benjamites, if the day will come when we finally get it right, and I tell you, it will be a glory day for Israel. The same the same zeal that we have will be now directed towards the proper place. Right? This, Commander General is a Benjamin. And you see the zeal that he has. Man. He might not hold the sword, but him holding the fort for the nation. And this is how Benjamites are. That's why we are the wolf, the hunter. Right? But in this time, we had it wrong. You see, Benjamite is strong in a way that we know that we kind of strong in personal will, which is why you end up with Rastafarianism. Right? Yeah. Rather than listening to the Jew that, because Marcus had realized that the Black Americans are our brothers, He couldn't tell them which tribe they were from, which is why he went to in America to do work. He realized that these Black Americans who were in slavery over there are our brothers. But well, Marcus died before the time of the truth, so can't really say much about him. Whatever time more point for your punishment to end, you could have ball blood. He never finished before that time. 1969 was the time appointed. Marcus had to be just like Christ and John the Baptist, right? John the Baptist had to go, right? Marcus, he had to go to, and others, so that the truth could come up. And the most I leave some that the truth would battle. Yeah. Right, continue. So reading so like you said, so Marcus Garvey basically we know that him start the black conscious kind of movement in America, so kind of set the pace for the truth come basically. Would you say that? Yeah, because more and more eyes were becoming open as to black consciousness. Yeah. And then after and then people start to smite the shepherd and the sheep will scatter. But then the truth came and was born right on the street in Harlem. Yeah. Because Marcus Garvey spoke about Harlem a lot, You realize Harlem is like Jerusalem. Yeah, he realized it. That's why his work was in Harlem first, Harlem was where the whole black consciousness and black pride and everything was. Yeah. What is Harlem today? Maybe a Chinaman sweatshop. Gentrified, right? And so this is their way of smiting the shepherd, but you have the truth. They can't touch the truth. Yeah. The truth is protected by the Most. This is when, remember the last class when we were a pillar of cloud by day and the fire by night protecting us forever. Yeah. This is it. You can see it happening in the truth. Brothers in the truth want to keep in the law, statutes, and commandment. You are protected. That's right. Right? And being protected don't mean that evil won't come up against you. David said, "Thou preparest a table in the presence of enemies." Right. So his enemies was right around him. But preparing a table before you in the presence of your enemies right here, but you are here eating and making merry and having fun because you are protected by the Most High. But because now we went astray, not keeping the law, statutes, and commandments, we eat where we want to eat, we screw where we want to screw, because that was what happened in Gilead. Yeah. Gibeah. That was what happened in Gibeah. Yeah. They screw what they want to screw. They sleep with what they want to sleep with. My bedroom is my private place. Eh? And because there were bad men around backing it, it flourished. But the Most High is throwing down the stronghold that was holding that belief. Right? Because they did not put forth the men. Why? If you were making a stand for the Most High, you would have put them out. Yeah.
So like yes, sir. Maybe that's same thing like today. Like now for the fish, the gunman them with finances. So, you know what I mean?
A lot of the gunman them are fish, you know.
And now for the gunman them are fish.
The gunman them eat out the wood like a chichi.
You understand?
Yeah.
And now for scammer them are fish.
All right. But here's the thing now. You know, a lot of them use the homosexual behavior as a cover.
Okay. So draw attention to themselves.
And when you catch them and then behave feminine and go on, the police them stand off.
Okay.
Because I've seen videos. They pull over man for whatever reason. And they're not going like the police then stand up and look. They would have guns out long time and one bus ready. Exactly.
Well, I know that them kind of man have the verbiage, the talking, and I mean the ability to talk and scam people.
True. True.
So maybe
Speak is spooky.
You understand?
No, there are them, you know.
No, so I cannot dispute that.
There are, because I remember say, all right, a couple of years ago, New Kingston, they say, all right, they say we should give them a chance. Let us see what they're up to. What was happening? You had those who were outright gay, got kicked out their community in Gully side.
Yeah.
They come out at night, New Kingston, uptown man them who were in the closets come in certain corners, solicit them and got robbed and had to go, especially in TV, and had to go to the police station to make report. When they call back the cell phone now, they tell them, me have all the numbers and your wife, everybody in their phone. I might call him and tell him what you're up to. All right. The police now realize that these men are more criminals than what they were, than what we are easing up. Because what they said, give them a chance. They are this orientation. So they say, all right, we could see, give them a chance. So the police then start saying, no man, they are adding to criminality. Yeah. There's a different kind of criminality coming. We don't want this. They chase them off the street in New Kingston. What you find? You had some who dress like women, but you had those among them who were men and like protectors.
More masculine.
More masculine. And were depending on these for money. So they might not be in the act, but they were. It's just like criminality. It's not everybody who associates with these criminals. That's why you hear they talk about the criminal mind. You might not come in the act, but you are like sympathizer. Yeah. So it's the same with the homosexuality out here. They sympathize with them, they move around them, they benefit from them. They are not necessarily in the act. But we in the UPK say, friend, you sympathize with them, you are them. They are part of it. Right? That's the stance we take. So if you walk like a duck and quack like a duck, you're a damn duck. I hear you.
You know what I mean? Like, you know, my father is Jamaican, you know, so you know, to any type of the movements them seem kind of shun, you know? Boy in a jail and move away and father supreme say, yo.
That a brother out here. Okay.
You know, say, well, you move so, like you're a fish. Where you actually see out time more. If you quack like a duck or walk like a duck.
So don't ask me how we move so.
chair. Smash him up.
That was then, you can't do it now.
Yeah, he don't know.
Yeah.
And we hold them.
Right. So that's the stance we take in UPK. You walk like a duck, you're gonna be called a duck.
Yeah.
So don't quack like a duck. Right, continue here. Because these men who were backing this homosexuality was actually walking and quacking like a damn duck.
Yeah.
So they get branded as what? Chi Chi Man.
Yeah.
Right. Continue.
Verse 30. And the children of Israel went up against the children of Benjamin on the third day, and put themselves in array against Gilead, as at other times. Verse 31. And the children of Benjamin went up against the people, and were drawn away from the city, and they began to smite of the people and kill, as at other times, in the highways, of which one goeth up to the house of God, and other to Gibeon in the field, about 30 men of Israel.
Continue.
Verse 32. And the children of Benjamin said, they are sitting down before us as at the first. But the children of Israel said, let us flee, and draw them from the city unto the highway. Verse 33. And all the men of Israel rose up out of their place, and put themselves in array at Baal Tamar, and the liars in wait of Israel came forth out of their places, even out of the meadows of Gilead.
Continue. Verse 1.
Verse
33.
34.
Right. So these liars in wait now, this is where Israel have to come up with a backup plan to trick us, to trick Benjamites. But not say no us, because that was them chichi, them kill them up. The chichi minds.
Right.
They are the mind supporting of chichi men. Now they come up with the rest of the Israelites have to come up with a backup plan. But the man are winning on and the most I said, if we go up against him, we need a plan. So they said liars in wait now. So you have to trick them.
Yeah.
So this was what happened. Continue.
Verse 34. And there came against Gibeah 10,000 chosen men out of all Israel, and the battle was sore, but they knew not that evil was near them. Verse 35. And the Lord smote Benjamin before Israel, and the children of Israel destroyed of the Benjamin that day 25,000, and 100 men. All these draw the sword.
Right. So imagine you lose 25,000 men in one.
What is a meadow?
It's like grass field.
Okay.
The sheep in the meadow, the cow in the corn.
Okay.
Right. So it's like a, you know the nursery rhyme them. Don't chat. Yeah, man. I think it was Baba Black Sheep. One of the nursery rhyme, the sheep in the meadow. It's a grass here that they.
Flat land.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe it could be undulating as well.
Yeah, the grass, iron things up, then probably lay in weight under the grass.
The grass would, yes, have probably about that high, maybe about knee height or so. When you lay down, you can't see them. I remember we used to at school, we used to have a big area on the play field like that. Like when, after the long summer break, the grass would grow tall. We used to look in that, lay down as children. They could, you could play. We used to play Cheffy, hide and seek and everything. Stuck in the mud and thing. You lay down in the grass, they can't see you. And we used to catch in the grass, and you run and it catch you, trip you. And then you used to get trouble as children. You must get trouble, man, unless you don't go to school. Yeah, you must. I also have fun giving trouble, playing the grass. But I mean, the after effect not nice still, you know, guys. Scratch out there. Yeah, man. But for some reason, we couldn't associate both. Just in time, you know. After man, the go man, so the skin a scratcher. But for your go man, you have a bath, it come back. Skin nice again, and you're looking forward to playing it again the next day. It was lovely. So they use the meadows as a covering ground to ambush the Benjamites. Who are the Chi Chi Man. Continue.
Verse 36. So the children of Benjamin saw that they were smitten, for the men of Israel gave place to the Benjamites, because they trusted unto the liar in way which they had set beside him.
So they trust in these men that when them chase come down the field, they're going to hold the back end. But little did they know that these men who they're going to trust in at the rear end, they are the ones who are going to let them down. Continue.
Verse 37. And the liars in wait hasted and rushed upon him, and the liars in wait drew themselves along and smote all the city with the edge of the sword. Verse 38. Now there was an appointed time between the men of Israel and the liars in wait, that they should make a great flame with smoke rise up out of the city.
Right. So after them get to the strong men now to chase the Israelite, the rest of the Israelite out the city, out into the field. Those at the back end, who would be some of your strong men, who should be, who should, you know, like when America going into war, you have forces back at home, holding the fort back at home.
Yeah.
Because strong men gone to war and then trouble start back at home. That's disaster. But that was exactly what befall these Israelites, these Benjamites. They chased they took the battle out. But those who were supposed to hold the city, they were the ones who start making the trouble back at home. Continue.
Verse 39. And when the men of Israel retired in the battle, Benjamin began to smite and kill of the men of Israel, about 30 persons. For they said, surely they are smitten down before us. As in the first battle. Verse 40. But when the flame began to arise up out of the city with a pillar of smoke, the Benjamites looked behind them, and behold, the flame of the city ascended up to heaven.
So you're back, you're fighting here, and then you look your city behind you, and then you hear a little cry or whatever, and then you turn around and look your city on fire. What is going to take you over now?
Fear.
Not fear necessarily, but astonishment. So you're going to, in the moment you do this, what happens?
We are fighting
Overthrow you, kill you. That was how we lost the battle. Continue. That was how they lost the battle.
Verse 41. And when the men of Israel turned, the men of Benjamin were amazed, for they saw that evil was come upon them.
So they turn and look, and when they look back, then them ready to fight again. That's how they lost. Continue.
Verse 42. Therefore they turned their backs toward the men of Israel unto the way of the wilderness. But the battle overtook them, and them which came out of the cities they destroyed in the midst of them.
So that was the destruction of them.
Yeah.
But, you know, it wasn't the Most High's wish that all should perish in this battle. Continue.
Verse 43. Thus they enclosed the Benjamites round about and chased them and threw them down with ease and trod them down with ease against Gibeah toward the sunrise.
Right. So this was how the Most High tell them to continue fighting, man, because tomorrow they shall be delivered in your hands.
Yeah.
That was the plan. So I mean, don't get the feelings that the Most High don't work with trickery. Right? A little tactics in war, tactical warfare. Nothing wrong with that. And those who they call them liars for a reason, you know. Do you remember read about liars in time of Samson? And they put liars in wait for Samson. Yeah, to trick you, tell you a lie. They think they were with you. In other words, they were like, today they might say double agent.
So not liars as in them lie down. But liars as in
they're telling you a lie. They were like double agents, deceivers. They were like double agent. They're working with you. You think they are working with you, but they're also working with your enemy. Kind of double agent. That's it. The name that Esau used for them now. Right. And it was double agents that America used to beat the British. There were men who were spying who knew that they were British men spying in America for the British, but they were more sympathetic to the Americans, working with the Americans against the very British. They were double agents, so those would be the liars that you have been with. Right? Double agents. Continue.
Verse 44. And there fell of Benjamin 18,000 men. All these were men of valor.
Men of valor. So these very men who could shoot from a distance away with the sling.
Yeah.
There, and today they would have been the shatter with the left hand. So it's like Benjamin had a left-handed army. So these were the men, that were some of the men of valor. See them get wiped out. 18,000 men of valor. These are the men who they trick out in the field and get rid of them. Because who were they fighting for? They were defending Chi Chi Man.
Yeah.
So they were defending Chi Chi Man. Yes, the Most High going to wipe us out again.
Yeah.
Right? So we have to be careful. I mean, you can't let them be. You have no power, no control over them. You side with them. Right? Because they are now going to walk and quack like a duck. That's what happened to these great men of valor back then, you know.
Yeah.
They walk and they quack like a blasted duck. So they move with Chi Chi Man, the Most High say, oh, so you are Chi Chi Man. Can you have the mind? Right? When you should have put out the man, they will make them kill them.
Yeah.
Or bring them to justice.
And save the nation.
And save a tribe. Yeah. But you were willing to die for the wrong.
Yeah.
So when they come now and they say, we have to go free up the Chi Chi Man them again, are you going to take a stand that I will die for them? Are you going to be sympathetic with them? Right? You have to take a stand just as UPK warriors. Right? We're not advocating violence against them from other men. We know the Most High will crisis coming to burn them. We can't take them in our midst.
Yeah, just allow them to breed and multiply.
Right. They can change and be a member of the UPK. That can happen.
Yeah.
But walking and quacking like a dog is not changing. So don't come here and talk as if you want to defend them. It's not going to work.
Yeah.
Right? That's it. Continue reading.
Verse 40. 45. And they turned and fled towards the wilderness and to the rock of Rimmon. And they gleaned of them in the highways 5,000 men and pursued hard after them.
All right. So these were men who were hiding.
Yeah.
They spot them, kill them. That's what you're gleaning. I mean, that's what you were going after them.
Yeah.
You spot them. Sit one there.
So that's right. Same glean like when you say don't glean the corner.
Yeah. To wipe it clean.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So what they did then was to wipe it clean, wipe the highways clean of them. They were hiding, anywhere they were, and they spot them, they search out and find them. And how much they find? 18, no? 5,000?
In the highway, 5,000 men
Mm-hmm.
and pursued hard after them unto Gibeon, and slew 2,000 men of them.
All right, so that are 5 on the highway and then 2 more thousand. So that.
Verse 46. So that all which fell that day of Benjamin were 20 and 5,000 men that drew the sword. All these were men of valor.
So how they reach this stage where a small amount of men commit a certain crime and the whole tribe defend them.
You understand?
That's terrible.
They had influence.
So it's either they weren't versed in the law then, or they just want to do what they want to do, like how they speak today.
Yeah.
One out of the two.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Say they were men of Belial.
Right.
Which is the same thing as Baalim.
No man, is that somebody name?
Or idolatry.
They never, it's not, no, it didn't attest to idolatry. Okay. It's like one of the great names among the tribe.
Okay.
So this would have been like a powerful sect within the tribe. But they were Chi Chi men. Right?
Yeah.
They were Chi Chi men. So why defend them? Maybe they had money, maybe they were influential. But we should not defend them. Probably that was why the Israelites, they came up with 20,000 men so fast, because they knew of them and knew that these were powerful men. Yeah. But we still have to bring justice to them. As powerful as they are, we still have to bring justice to them. Continue.
Verse 47. But 600 men turned and fled to the wilderness and to the rock Rimmon, and abode in the rock Rimmon 4 months.
Right. So these was now the little preservation that the Most High said, all right, we're not going to wipe them out clean. Save 600 of them. They went to hiding. Continue.
Yeah. Verse 48. And the men of Israel turned again upon the children of Benjamin and smote them with the edge of the sword, as well the men of every city, as the beasts and all that came to hand. Also they set on fire all the cities that they came to.
So you see what happened now? Gibeah started, you know. But then Gibeah wasn't the only city that we had. They turned the fight to all the cities that were Benjamite cities.
Right.
We say, hold on, Chi Chi Man, I get rid of them.
Right.
And they did wipe out those men. Right? So much so. You must know how much trauma or fear that it drives into us, that so many thousand years after, the tribe of Benjamin is still saying, Bun Chi Chi Man. Right? So much so that we do not want to associate with any Chi Chi Man kinds of living. until this day. It's just how it's strong in Jamaica, in the songs and so on. And those leaders, you know, are looking for an uproar. Probably they're going to stand, God knows. But they're smart. They start, you know, you see where the changes start. The ones who would have more likely perpetrate the badness in the jailhouse, in the prison. Remember when they said they probably should have started giving them condom in their prison? Which caused, you see what it caused then? The man them who know them not in it, they start to attack the ones who were in it and start beat them and
so cause uproar in
the prison. That the soldiers had to start man the prison. They had to bring in the soldiers. Take he started in Spanish Town prison. They had to bring in soldiers to man the prison. They start treating as they bad. Duck them with what's it not bucket. Attack them. Right. So they had to bring in the soldiers to quash it. And then they realized that the man who said it, who was a government official, actually made a mistake. I don't remember if it was a minister of justice and national security at the time, but it was some influential person in office who made it a public state. Because what was happening, HIV was on the rise in the prison.
Then time the HIV spread.
Was on the rise in prison. And he said, boy, the way this going is like we need to give the prisoner them condom. Wrong thing him said publicly.
One of fish not dead.
Eh?
That's one of fish not dead by man. Understand?
Yeah, but the man, what started to happen was then say, oh, so prisoner them a fish. So who know that they are not Chi Chi Mans, they take it to the one them who them know and say, I want to make them come talk them things, you know. Like say we is like who know. Right. All right. So you finish?
Cancer, that was 40 last verse.
All right, so go to 21.
Chapter 21. This is the book of Judges, chapter 21 and 1. Now the men of Israel had sworn in I.S.U.P.K, saying, there shall not any of us give his daughter unto Benjamin to wife.
So they know the other 11 tribes got so fierce amongst us that they say, we'll not give them wife of any of them. They kill out. If we were left alone, we wouldn't be what we are today. No, we didn't have wife to choose from to be wife because they burn the city and everything. Down to animals, down to the animals that you own, they kill. So the other tribes now of them anger boil down now, them get a little sympathetic. What they said was in anger, you know. Said there shall not any of us give of our daughters wives unto these Benjamites. Right? But then after the anger boil down, they say, what? We say a wrong thing, but they need wives now to bring up back the tribe. So, but we can't go back on word. Because what we said, we had sworn it in front of the Most High, right at the temple, the place that where the temple, the worshiping take place. So we can't go back on the word. All right, let's see what they did.
Verse 2. And the people came to the house of God and abode there till evening before God, and lifted up their voice and wept sore. Verse 3. And said, O Lord God of Israel, why is this come to pass in Israel, that there should be one tribe lacking in Israel?
Right. So people start crying over Benjamin and say, why should there be no more, not 12 tribes, but 11? Continue.
Verse 4. And it came to pass on the morrow that the people rose early and built there an altar and offered burnt offering and peace offering. Verse 5. And the children of Israel said, who is there among all the tribes of Israel that came not up with the congregation unto the Lord? For they had made a great oath concerning him that came not up to the Lord. And I.S.U.P.K said, he shall surely be put to death.
All right. So, who from the, or even from our people, who is there that is not here worshiping with the Most High? They didn't come here to worship. Continue.
God 1 verse 6. And the children of Israel repented them from Benjamin their brother, and said, there is one tribe cut off from Israel this day.
Right, you're referring to Benjamin as the boy Benjamin cut off, then I no wife. So now you kill them for homosexuality and then you kill out you and them. And then you swear say that going to give them no wife. So what is it you promoted? You would have killed them for. So that is why they were repenting in front of the Lord. But they can't go back on the word. So they are trying to find a way to gain wives for the children of Israel, for the children of Benjamin. Continue. The survivors.
Verse 7. How shall we do for wives for them that remain? Seeing we have sworn by the Lord that we will not give them of our daughters to wife.
Right. That's it. How we going to do for wives then? Because that's what you say. Because you know our tradition says what? The damsel that you like, you go to the father of the damsel and ask for her hand to be your wife. So the parents don't say, well, I give with that to them. So they cannot, but I go and ask them for so how you make it. Continue.
Verse 9. Verse 8. And they said, what one is there of the tribe of Israel that came not up to I.S.U.P.K to the Lord? And behold, there came none to the camp from Jabesh Gilead to the assembly.
Right. So that era that is Jabesh Gilead, nobody from the son come up to the assembly that they were having. Yeah. Everybody from there were people from every other areas. Maybe not everybody come up, but at least people from there was here at our assembly. But when they check Jabesh Gilead now, there was none. So that place was not represented in the no, Jabesh Gilead. Yeah. No, maybe they just take a stand and say, you are going, you know. Okay. I understand. So when they call the assembly, nobody from that town can represent the town.
At the time of the oath, or you know what I mean?
At the oath, this year already, you know. Yeah. But they call another meeting now to say, how are we going to get wives?
Yeah, okay. So then it wasn't because they never did it with the oath that they made.
No, this assembly now. So then say, all right, we have an assembly before the Lord now. Which in Israelite group is not here? They check. Everybody did it, and then Jabesh Gilead, nobody is not there. Okay. So then what they were going to do now is take it to Jabesh. Read on.
Verse 9. Our people were numbered, and behold, there were none of the inhabitants of Jabesh Gilead there.
Right. The number of them are like roll call. Maypen. Yeah, we from Maypen there. All right. Lionel Town. Yeah. Yeah, we're here. Race Course. Yeah, we're here. And then they call another Jabesh Gilead. Nobody. No representative. Yeah. Continue.
Verse 10. And the congregation said, these are 12,000, sent these are 12,000 men of the valiantest, and commanded them, saying, go and smite the inhabitants of Jabesh Gilead with the edge of the sword, with the women and children,
Continue.
Verse 11. And this is the thing that he shall do. He shall utterly destroy every male and every woman that has laid by man. Verse 12. They found among the inhabitants of Jabesh Gilead 400 young virgins that had known no man by lying with any male, and they brought them unto the camp to Shiloh, which is in the land of Canaan.
So Jabesh Gilead wasn't one of it wasn't one of the heathen towns, it was an Israelite town.
Yeah.
But it was not representing an assembly right there now, because what they wanted is that, and this was what whoever brought it up, whoever was judge at that time, this was what they wanted. Any town who never represented, we're going to take all the virgins from there and give them to Benjamin.
Okay, yeah.
And when they say take the virgins, it means kill the people. So we were taking it to each other for a long time now. Right? So the command that they get is, hey, listen, send out some of the valiantest men now and say, listen, they're going into this town. They're going to kill every woman and children and men there. Save the virgins, those who know not a man. Kill everybody else. Tough decision to make. Yeah. Continue.
Verse 11. And this is the thing that he shall do. So that's verse 12. So that, yeah, in the middle of verse 12. And they brought them unto the camp, Shiloh, which is in the land of Canaan. Verse 13. And the whole congregation sent some to speak to the children of Benjamin that were in the rock Rimmon, and to call peaceably unto them. Verse 14. And Benjamin came again at that time, and they gave them wives, which they had saved alive of the women of Jabesh Gilead, and yet so they sufficed them not.
But I say, I'm going to kill out some of our own people them now. So, what was happening here now, it's like a purge. Anybody who knows nobody means that you're not with the Lord. So if you're not with the Lord, we're going to take a stance and wipe you out. And give your young daughters to Benjamin. Right? That was us. Continue.
Verse 15. And the people repented them from Benjamin, because that the Lord made a breach in the tribe of Israel.
Right. Continue.
Verse 16. Then the elders of the congregation said, how shall we do for wives for them that remain, seeing the women are destroyed out of Benjamin?
So the 400 women still wasn't enough. We needed more.
Yeah.
That means it's just a handful of men they left. Continue.
Verse 17. And they said, there must be an inheritance for them that be escaped of Benjamin, that a tribe be not destroyed out of Israel. Verse 18. Albeit we may not give them wives or daughters, for the children of Israel have sworn, saying, cursed be he that giveth a wife to Benjamin.
Right.
Verse 19. Then they said, behold, there is a feast of the Lord in Shiloh, here in a place which is on the north side of Bethel, on the east side of the highway that goeth up from Bethel to Shechem, and the south of the Lebanon. Verse 20. Therefore they commanded the children of Benjamin, saying, go and lie in wait in the vineyards. Verse 21. And see and behold, if the daughters of Shiloh come out to dance, then come ye out of the vineyards, and catch you every man his wife of the daughter of Shiloh, and go to the land of Benjamin.
Go catch a woman. That is being this feast now with the dance of the virgins. Virgins come out to dance in the fields.
Yeah.
Go catch a wife. All right. So they went and they catch a wife. Continue.
Verse 22. And it shall be when their fathers, when their fathers or their brethren come unto us to complain, that we will say unto them, be favorable unto them for our sake, because we reserve not to each man his wife in the war, for he did not give unto them at this time that he should be guilty.
All right. Meaning now, the fathers or the brethren or the men will not complain because our tradition is ask the father for the wife, the young girl in marriage, and you have to pay a certain amount of money, shekels. Now, that will be rich.
Yeah, that will be the case here.
Because you go and now catch a wife
Yeah.
and came back a Benjamin.
Yeah.
Father knows about it. Don't you say that I end up a Benjamin.
Yeah.
So then I report to the council. But the council said, no, well, we're going to have to say this. Be favorable to them. Because we did not reserve any wives for them anymore. Because of what we said.
Yeah.
Right, continue.
Verse 23. And the children of Benjamin did so, and took them wives according to their number, of them that danced, whom they catch,
What?
caught, and they went and returned unto their inheritance, and repaired the cities, and dwell in them.
So they took the wives and then, well, a lot of wealth left because they killed out everybody knows. So we have the city stores, the few that left. Right? But they had wives now. Breeding season not now, you know, man. Gosh. Probably every Benjamin can breed, so. Because they had to build back then. All right. That was 21.
That was 23.
All right, 24.
Verse 24. And the children of Israel departed thence. At that time, every man to his tribe and to his family, and they went out from thence, every man to his inheritance. Verse 25. In those days, there was no king in Israel. Every man did that which was right in his own eyes.
Right. So in other words, Benjamites come now start to take a wife.
Yeah.
Rather than going to the wife. Now, this was what? Let me see if I can find it. If the man lied with the woman, what the law they go again? If the man lied with the woman without the father consent, then he shall pay a certain amount of money.
Any amount of father determined.
Something like so.
Yeah. And he shall not put her away all the days of his life.
All right.
So,
I don't remember. I'm not trying to remember.
yeah.
20, Exodus 21:16.
This is the book of Exodus.
Hold on.
Yeah.
Yes, 21:16.
Yes, wait. Let's wait till him find it, brother.
I've heard him a long time, the man has been Bible leave you. And brother, I've helped him find it, man. It's just like when we just start back up with the truth, we say, well, which direction the book are there again? A New Testament or Old Testament? So go ahead, brother. Yeah, the Bible, and funny enough, the Bible is a book that is almost in everybody's household, but it's the least attended book. You want to move it when you're dusting, or moving it from one place to the next, but we not open it. Unless somebody trouble around want a Psalms. Yes, sis. The other side of dirty, the leaf. You just look on the edges, you see which. When you look on the UPK Bible, it's tattered right through. All right, read on.
This is the book of Exodus, chapter 22, verse 16. And if a man entice a maid that is not betrothed, and lie with her, he shall surely endow her to be his wife.
All right. So this was the law that they enacted. So this was the loophole that the elders found. Because they remember in the council, they said, oh, I'm going to now find wives for Benjamin. Seeing that we have sworn that we're not going to do it. So that's why we have to have scholars of the law who really understand the law. So this was a loophole they find. That's why they say, you know, some women always come out in a Shiloh and dance. They go catch them and take them. When they come to us, we can bring forth this part. Right. So that was the way in which Benjamin now have to catch to get a wife. The father swears him not give because why? It's a curse is a man who give unto Benjamin. So for ages, that's how Benjamin had to get a wife. Until this day now, you not even know if you go, even though it's all Israel, not all Israel, somewhere. Yeah, you're going to talk to the father, but the majority of us, yeah, is the woman we go talk to, entice the woman. Yes.
Which is that this
No, that's not capture. That's capturing.
It's more like go find or talk some game to her, you know what I mean?
Yes.
Activate our mind, black people talk.
Right. That one, it's Shiloh. They would actually go and hold the woman and
Yeah, one side and talk to her. No rape. Yeah.
no rape.
Yeah.
Because there's law against rape.
Yeah.
So it couldn't be rape. But entice her without our father's consent. Back to your place. So in other words, once you say yes, you know, that's it. Take out that feel and carry go back to Benjamin land.
She come back in with a belly and I say, how that will go on?
You not go back at daddy. You not go back at daddy. Your daddy won't go, yes, and go Benjamin.
Verse 17. Verse 17. If her father utterly refuse to give her unto him, he shall pay money according to the dowry of virgins.
Right, but these men of Benjamin now were destroyed. So they did not enforce dowry of virgin, and that's why they come up and say, we shall speak to them because we did not leave any wife for them in the war. So we will speak to the father and say, yeah, it's honorable. Make it go on. All right, so That is the law, but we still have to close with Revelation, Revelation 16, no, 18, soon tell you. Second day, like 18.
I'm saying, I think so.
Do it tell about the second day.
Which is the second bit.
Yeah. Okay. Twenty and 14. You say about that.
Revelations 21 and 8. Second bit. Burn it with fire and brimstone, which is the second bit.
What number that?
21 and 8.
It's 8. Mm-hmm.
Gun, the funny. Yeah.
So that fearful and believing abominable, murder and humongous Revelation last.
Look at big skip. Please say we can skip. See the 21 and 8. Fine. Yes, sir. This is the book of Revelations, chapter 21, verse 8. But the fearful and unbelieving and the abominable and murderers and warmongers and sorcerers and idolaters and all liars shall have their part in the lake which burneth with fire and brimstone, which is the second death.
All right. So, which of these now apply to what we just studied that happened to Benjamin?
The abominable.
The abominable. And it's not the abominable snowman, this.
Yeah.
This is the abominable Chi Chi Man.
Yeah.
Right. So the fearful, unbelieving, and the abominable Chi Chi Man and all murder. In other words, all them going into the lake of fire.
Yeah.
So you see what happened then when we became abominable? There has never been an attack on a next tribe in Israel. No, after this, we and Judah went into civil war in the time of David and Saul.
Yeah.
That was the other time we went against each other. Other than when the northern and southern kingdom would have gone into civil wars from time to time. But this has never happened before or after, because the Most High always take a stand when it comes to these kind of abomination. Right? The Chi Chi Man abomination.
Yeah.
Always take a stand. Why? Because it is It's abominable, and well, yes, abominable is one, but it poisons the minds of sympathizers, even the very sympathizer, because that's what happened. It permeates through the whole tribe, and it was a handful of men who committed the actual act, but being sympathetic mentally with them, quite like them, is dangerous, right? So the most I always wipe this clean, because this is not a stand for the Most High. You don't stand for Yahweh when you're back. You become abominable and start backing LGBT. You're not making a stand for Yahweh. So that means the Most High's laws can never ever reign in that. The man who is a rapist can be reformed. A murderer, a thief, a liar, and so everybody else can reform, you know. But you have ever seen, you hear about Alcohol Anonymous, where they're trying to reform alcoholism. They try to reform addicts. Why they don't try and reform homosexuals? Try and reform the LGBT community. There's no reformation for them, you know, because you can't reform them.
There's no will to reform them.
All right.
They more promote them and
what prior to them coming out, what was happening? You remember them serial killing? So we read about them back in the 60s coming out. A lot of these serial killers were homos, you know. Yeah. And what they do, they abduct people.
Chop them off and torture them.
No, that after them do them sexual acts with them.
Yeah.
Except for those who were mentally sick who kill for fun. But a lot of these were actual homosexuals. You know, see, from them free up. From them free them up in the 70s, 60s, 50s. You don't see happening.
Yeah, the serial killing gone
now. When last year about a serial killing? Yeah. And there is still killing going on, but they are not serial killers, right? A lot of them go in the police force. Yeah. So many of them who have this mental urge to kill, they are the ones killing the black people at will. Yeah. So the government put up with that. So serial killer gone down there. You free them up now, that they don't have to go and abduct men and lock them up in them secret basement and thing for sexual pleasure, and women for same thing. Yeah. They flying in the wrong side, gone to Uranus rather than being on Earth. Yeah. You understand? And there's that about coming out. So you can't reform them. There's never ever been any reformation to them. Gays Anonymous. Why about LGBT? Why they don't form an LGBT Anonymous? Meaning you report these people and they come. You see, just go and grab the drug addict and came off to the reform school. Why don't you do the same thing for them? You're going to tell them, we love you. You are whoever you think you are, to the point where you're going to tell them, all right, have a sex change. If you are born a man and you think you're a woman, have a sex change. These are abominable. The entire Bible is talking about them being abominable. But Moses is telling that none of them have a part in his kingdom. Yeah. That's why they don't like the I.S.U.P.K.
That's right.
Right.
So that is anonymous, meaning pretending to be straight.
One, I'm talking about it in reference to, like, you'd have the Alcohol Anonymous, meaning that is it anonymous? AA, yeah, man. Where you call, suppose you're an alcoholic, I want help for you. We just call it AA. Talk to me, report you, and then just one day they just come, talk to you, and carry your gun. Now reform. Like a rehab. Okay. Same thing for the drugs. Okay. Same thing for men who women. They have reformation for them, you know. Yeah. You know, they have them group chat and things, getting at them psychologically and let them know that they mustn't do these things. But they don't do it for anyone LGBTQ, RSTU, and none of them.
And I push it hard on poor people. Understand?
But but why are they doing it? One, reform. Two, yes, then use it to get the black men being not, because they're afraid of you know.
You understand?
Right? But they're afraid of the gay black man, you know.
It's no threat.
It's no threat. But you and I looking so masculine, they see us as threats.
Yeah.
Yes. So they try to push it on us, but that's not the case in pushing it on their own people. What's the case in pushing it on their own people? They can't reform them. Never has been any, nowhere in the Bible. Sodom and Gomorrah didn't send a prophet to try and speak to them. And want them. Just wipe them out. Just wipe them out.
Yeah.
Right. All right. Any further question? You have the thing there?
Yeah, sir. Yeah.
All right. Sis didn't sign on. All right. So you're going to say over right here. And then she can sign off. So with that, to pass the class to priest and officer. How you doing?
Clap it up. Alright, these are the I.S.U.P.K security announcements. We are the I.S.U.P.K out of 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, and a commanding General YAHANNA. Rules for brothers and sisters. When a brother or a sister comes into the school, they are off limits for 6 months. Be saluted only. They are here to shed themselves of the word. After 6 months, if a brother or a sister has an interest in a particular person, he or she must get permission from the head to speak to a brother or a sister. There is another 6 months in which the brother or sister will court each other. After this 6 months period, the brother or sister will get permission from the head to marry. Tithes, which is a commandment, you can find this in Numbers 18 and 21, and Malachi 3 verse 8 to 10. Mean 10 in Hebrew and it's pronounced Ma'aishra. 10% of every penny or any increase the Lord gives you, give to the treasury department or teacher. Priest fund, free will offering for priests, not mandatory. Whatsoever amount you would like to give. Upcoming board convocation. Coming up is the memorial of the blowing of the trumpet. This is the first day of the 7th month, and it's on Monday, the 6th of September 2021. You can find this in Leviticus 23, verse 24 to 25. Remind Akia Manakwat Slakia to check on social media such as ISUPK.com, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and so on for ISUPK events and material. If a brother wants to be a trooper in the school, then he is to start wearing all black, which include black boots, shirt, pants, headband, or scarf. Now with that we say a margin, which means to stand. Sir, Lakwanya Akodam, which means turn and face the east. You want to say the Lord's Prayer in Hebrew and then in English.
Hands like this.
Abnawa,
Abanawa,
Shabashamaya,
Shabashamaya,
Kwadash,
Kwadash,
Aya,
Aya,
Shanka,
Yahweh,
Malakwatka,
Malakwatka,
Tabaha,
Taba'a,
Ratazaka,
Matazaka,
Aya,
Aya,
Aisha,
Aisha,
Barataza,
Barataza,
Kawa,
Kawa,
Aya, Maya,
Shamayim,
Natandanawa,
Atandana,
Rakam,
Bakam,
Kyal,
Kan, Yawa,
Wasalaklanawa,
Wasalaklanawa,
Kawabuat Nawa,
Kawabuat Nawa,
Kasalanawa,
Salak Nawa,
Kawabuat Yanawa,
Kawabuat Yanawa,
Walaha,
Walaha,
Tabaya Anawa,
Yanawa,
Manasayawan,
Banasayawa,
Abba,
Abba,
Awashayna,
Washayna,
Maya,
Maya,
Rai,
Rai,
Kaya,
Kaya,
Laka,
Laka,
Amalakwan,
Amalakwan,
Wa'ala,
Wahala,
Watapara,
Watapara,
Aiwalam,
Awalam,
Ama.
Amen. In English, our Father which art in heaven,
Our Father which art in heaven,
hallowed be thy name.
hallowed be thy name.
Thy kingdom come.
Thy kingdom come.
Thy will be done in earth as it is in heaven.
Thy will be done in earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread.
And forgive us our debts.
And forgive us our debts.
As we forgive our debtors.
As we forgive our debtors.
And lead us not into temptation.
Lead us not into temptation.
But deliver us from evil.
But deliver us from evil.
For thine is the kingdom.
Thine is the kingdom.
And the power.
And the power.
And the glory.
And the glory.
Forever.
Forever.
So be it.
So be it.
All right. Prayer for the curses. Blessed are you, Yahweh.
Blessed are you, Yahweh.
King of heaven and earth.
King of heaven and earth.
And all things living.
And all things living.
Yahweh.
Yahweh.
In the name of Yahweh.
In the name of Yahweh.
Listen to us now.
Listen to us now.
Right now.
Right now.
Send evils and curses.
Send evils and curses.
And punishment and destruction.
Punishment and destruction.
To the Eden.
To the Eden.
That speak against us.
Who speak against us.
Thy prophets.
Thy prophets.
The teachers.
Teachers.
The princes.
Princes.
The priests.
Priests.
The Israelite brothers and the school.
The Israelite brothers and the school.
Send evils and curses.
Send evils and curses.
Punishment and destruction.
And punishment and destruction.
To the Eden.
To the Eden.
And shake loose the treasure of the rich of Israel.
And shake loose the treasures of the rich of Israel.
That refuse to give to the school.
That refuse to give to the school.
Force their riches to enter into thy sanctuary.
Force their riches to enter into thy sanctuary.
Send evils and curses.
Send evils and curses.
And punishment and destruction.
And punishment and destruction. The Edomites.
And the nations.
And the nation.
And
the drug dealers.
The court system. The prison system.
Prison system.
Planned Parenthood.
Planned Parenthood.
All the government of our enemies.
All the government of our enemies.
Amalek synagogues and armies.
Amalek synagogues and armies.
Roman Catholic Church.
Roman Catholic Church.
The Pope.
The Pope.
Islam.
Christianity.
Egyptology. Militia. Ku Klux Klan. Aryan Nation. Skinheads. Posse Comitazi. Gay movement. The lesbian movement. Spies. Workers of witchcraft. NASA space program.
Army.
Navy. Air Force.
Marines.
Wall Street. Open
the internet.
And the airways. The cable access channel. The radio channel. Convict the spirit of any of thy people. That seek to stop us. And bring swift destruction. To all the Eden. That stand in the way. Or try to stop us. From broadcasting your words. Throughout the planet Earth. Let loose all the plagues. Cause them to go to and fro. Through the earth. And consume them. Let the plague shake. The house of the thief and the murderer. Yahweh Shai, Michael and Gabriel. Come down with the flying saucers. And punish all the Eden. That come up against us. And we speak as we speak thy word. Cause it to be known by all. That it is the angels that have done it. Cause it to be spread through the media. Through the whole world. Cause them to shake at thy coming. In the name of Yahweh. Thank you.
So be. Alright, this is the prayer for the poor in the Hebrew. Yahweh B'Hashem Yahushai.
Yahweh B'Hashem Yahushai. Babakosha. Natan Lanaw. Akak. Larpa. Wakal Madaw. Akak. Lata'ar.
Amatazaria. Akak. La Akwayam. Amataya. Akak. Irakawa. Atamala. Garshan. Hashem Yahushai. Wada.
In English, Yahweh in the name of Yahweh. Please give us the power. Power to heal all manner of sickness and all manner of disease. The power to cleanse the leper. The power to raise the dead. power against unclean spirits.
Power against unclean spirits.
To cast them out in the name of Yahweh.
Cast them out in the name of Yahweh.
Thank you, so be.
Thank you, so be.
Bless Abraham.
This is the prayer for the blessings. Yahweh Hashem, Yahweh Shai. Baraklanawa. Yasharala.
Bayat
Barak. Rapa'a. Magan. Agan. Commanding General Anna. The generals. The captains. The officers. Troopers. Sisters.
Young men and the sisters.
The young men and the sisters.
The school.
And the schools. And the school. Hashem Yahweh.
Alright, what we just said is, Lord, in the name of Yahweh, Shai, bless us and Israel and the school, bless, heal, shield, protect our loved ones. In the name of Yahweh, Shai. Thank you so much.
God. Not more on paper, right?
Just salute.
Alright, so I'm going to give one courtesy salute to the teacher.
Turn face the teacher.
Turn and face the teacher. Israel.
Shabbat. Like this.
Amajum. Barak. Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai.
Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai Barakatam.
Yaramata. I'm going to give one courtesy salute to the sister. Sarah, which means turn and face the sister. Men of Israel. Amajum Shabbat. Amajum Barak. Yahweh Shamar Alatam Basham Yahweh. Yaramata. Class dismissed.
In this time of the pandemic, where COVID-19 has crippled the world economies, where our government has ordered nationwide shutdown, where hospitals are overwhelmed.
Shortly after, the unthinkable happened.
I was literally stunned and frozen.
And their religious leaders are proven to be frauds. Where do you go to get all your questions answered and to hear what God has to say about this matter? You can only find the answers in the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge under Commanding General YAHANNA. We give you scriptural breakdowns of world events and the up and coming world war. We will show you in the Bible where the children of Israel, who are the blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans today, would suffer slavery in Jamaica, Caribbean, North, Central, and South America, and other parts of the world. We will show you in the Bible where God said He would send plagues upon the earth before He frees people from this captivity.
The World Health Organization has declared coronavirus a global pandemic.
We will give you the true teaching of the Bible, precept upon precept. To learn more, subscribe today and call the number in the description for I.S.U.P.K Jamaica. Shalom.
Remember to subscribe.
Remember to like, subscribe, like our videos, subscribe to our channels, and pay your tithes to the I.S.U.P.K. Your money go towards feeding the nation. Shalom.